archives locate those pages of Joe Biden's pseudonym emails, possibly dwarfing the Clinton scandal. Robert L. Peters, anybody? Robert L. Peters, paging Robert L. Peters to American Sunrise stat. Join us now, Congressman Eric Burleson, who is on the House Oversight Committee, and he's got a few questions for Robert L. Peters, or at least Joe Biden, or whatever his name is. Congressman Burleson, do you have any pseudonyms? Let's get that out of the way right now before we start this interview. Darn it.
No, I don't. When I first heard about that, I was really surprised. I've never heard of that ever happening. I've never heard of a lawmaker creating a fake name in order to utilize the government system. And honestly, the mere fact that he had his staff coordinating through those emails, or through their emails, sending emails to him, attaching Hunter Biden's business account, that in and of itself raises red flags to me. In my state, lawmakers would be in hot water if they used the state's email system, if they copied something on the copier or whatever it is. You cannot use government property, government resources. You cannot use your staff to aid someone's business, especially someone in your family. And it's evident that has happened, but that's the least of it. When what's really crazy is when he's getting a $200,000 check funneled through his brother from a corrupt hospital chain.
And I mean, don't you just know, Congressman, that is the tip of the big old iceberg, I think, anyway, that we're going to find. But is there mounting concern about this amongst your colleagues? Because we just had MTG on the show. She said, she's got her impeachment bill. She said there are not 217 votes right now to impeach him, despite all of this mounting evidence. We had John Solomon on earlier talking about these new emails now that we know about, far more than Hillary ever had, that are also scary. We've had, just on this show alone, the evidence of what Joe Biden has done. And yet, if you turn on corporate media right now, if they're talking about Joe Biden, they're saying, but there's no evidence. We're not dumb here, right? We know what we're seeing, Congressman. MAGA is not the only one who is being presented this evidence. So what is the scuttlebutt back channel among your colleagues?
There's more to come, that we're tracing down the details of some events that have occurred, some transactions that have occurred. We're tracing down those details. And all the information that we're investigating right now is coming from people that are ancillary to the Biden family. So these are individuals who have sent money to the Bidens. We have had access to their bank records, but we knew that we would not be able to get access to the Biden family's records because they would challenge that in a court until we had enough evidence that was necessary. And I believe now we've hit that tipping point. And that's why we created the formal impeachment inquiry, because that, along with the evidence that we have, gives us the authority to go to court and win in court, being able to get copies of the Biden's bank records. Yeah. Once we have those bank records, I think that we're going to find a lot more. And at that point, if there is evidence, then I think the goose is cooked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congressman, let me turn to immigration before you get out of here. You have this bill that you've introduced that has to do with states being able to enforce immigration laws and, of course, build border reinforcements, barriers, walls, all of that. Talk to us a little bit about what you're trying to accomplish here and what kind of support it has in Congress. There's the headline.
Yeah, I think that, look, we've got a crisis and the states are ready to step up and address it. We all know that the states are where the resources are. When it comes to enforcing any kind of laws, it's the states are the ones that actually do the enforcement. The federal government is kind of the paper tiger. So for us to expect the federal government to actually fix what's happening on the border, I think is faulty logic. We need to let states fully utilize the immigration laws on the books and be able to do things like deport illegal immigrants out of the United States and back to their home countries. They need to be able to, if they want to construct a border wall like Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, if they want to construct a border wall, they should be able to do that. They should be able to put whatever resources on the border that they need in order to enforce the laws on the books.
Yeah. And what are you hearing? Just one last question quickly. What are you hearing out of the new speaker elected merely a week ago, not even quite that? Is he going to be supportive of these measures? What are we going to see out of him? What can we look forward to in your estimation?
Well, you can already get an idea or a glimpse of how he's going to operate. So, for example, when the Senate is asking for a big, whopping, omnibus package that funds Israel, Ukraine, and the border, he's saying nope. The House is the appropriation side are only going to fund the efforts in Israel, and we're going to pay for it. Meaning we're going to take cuts out of the plan is out of the IRS, out of the 87,000 IRS agents. We're going to take the money out of that. If you want to fund Israel, we're going to have to pay for it. And that is shaking Washington, D.C. They've not expected someone to be so bold and to begin at such a position. And I think that he's already setting an aggressive tone.
Awesome. Well, Congressman Eric Burlison, thank you for all you do in Washington, D.C., and of course for joining us today. Thanks.